कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन जमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल। जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। पतित पावन गुरु महाराज की जय। नित्य गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरे कृष्णा। वेलकमिंग all of you for this Srimad Bhagavatam session. Let me share my screen for today's shloka. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. So today's topic is Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.41. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatho Jayam Udhirayet नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.41. One of you can be my chorus.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Atha viśveśa viśvātman
Atha viśveśa viśvātman
viśva-mūrte svakeṣu me
viśva-mūrte svakeṣu me
sneha-pāśam imaṁ chindhi
sneha-pāśam imaṁ chindhi
dṛḍhaṁ pāṇḍuṣu vṛṣṇiṣu.
dṛḍhaṁ pāṇḍuṣu vṛṣṇiṣu.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Word by word meaning. Atha, therefore, viśva-īśa, O Lord of the universe. viśvā-ātman, O soul of the universe. viśva-mūrte, O personality of the universal form. svakeṣu, onto my own kinsman, me. May my sneha-pāśam, tie of affection, imaṁ, this, chindhi, cut off, dṛḍhaṁ, deep, pāṇḍuṣu, for the Pandavas, vṛṣṇiṣu, for the Vrishni also. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Lord of the universe, soul of the universe, O personality of the form of universe, please, therefore, sever my tie of affection for my kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. Purport. A pure devotee of the Lord is ashamed to ask anything in the self-interest from the Lord. But the householders are sometimes obliged to ask favors from the Lord, being bound by the tie of family affection. Srimati Kunti Devi was conscious of this fact, and therefore she prayed to the Lord to cut off the affectionate tie from her own kinsmen. The Pandavas and Vrishni. The Pandavas are her own sons, and Vrishnis are the members of her paternal family. Krishna was equally related to both the families. Both the families required the Lord's help because both were dependent devotees of the Lord. Srimati Kunti Devi wished Sri Krishna to remain with her sons, the Pandavas, but by his doing so, her paternal house would be bereft of the benefit. All these partialities troubled the mind of Kunti, and therefore she desired to cut off the affectionate tie. A pure devotee cuts off the limited ties of affection for his family and widens his activities of devotional service for all the forgotten souls. The typical example is the band of 6 Goswamis who followed the path of Lord Chaitanya. All of them belong to the most enlightened and cultured, rich families of the higher caste. But for the benefit of the mass of population, they left their comfortable homes and became mendicants. To cut off the family affection means to broaden the field of activities. Without doing this, no one can be qualified as Brahmana, a king, a public leader, or a devotee of the Lord. The personality of Godhead as an ideal king showed this by example. Sri Ramachandra cut off the tie of affection for his beloved wife to manifest the qualities of an ideal king. Such personalities as Brahmana, a devotee, a king, or a public leader must be very broad-minded in discharging their respective duties. Srimati Kunti Devi was conscious of this fact, and being weak, she prayed to be free from such bondage of family affection. The Lord is addressed as the Lord of the universe or the Lord of universal mind, indicating his all-powerful ability to cut the hard knot of family affection. Therefore, it is sometimes experienced that Lord, out of his special affinity towards a weak devotee, breaks the family affection by force of circumstances arranged by his all-powerful energy. By doing so, he causes the devotee to become completely dependent on him and thus clears the path for his going back to Godhead. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudhapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vacharam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamam vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Paramahandamatvam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So Hare Krishna, we shall proceed with the session. So quite interesting things to know here because we see here Mother Kunti Maharani is praying to Krishna to cut the, the knots of attachments which are there towards the Pandavas and towards her paternal families as well. So I'm very sure that, not all of us make that kind of prayer. And that is how how Mother Kunti is a role model, set for all the Matajis, for all the Prabhujis, for all the devotees. First, she was asking for troubles so that, Krishna is always with Mother Kunti and Pandavas. So there she taught that, when Krishna is there, that is the victory for us. Troubles and all these problems are the so-called troubles. They are like, summer and winter, like it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukha agama paina nityas tam titakshashva bharata. So those are like, passing seasons. Not very, great for us to put our mind into that. So she was praying that, my dear Lord, you give me, you give me your association. And for that, if it is required, you put me in troubles also, it is fine. And here she is asking for, cutting the knots of attachments towards her family. But you see how this material world is designed when we are talking about these relationships, family relationships or other so-called relationships nowadays, which are coming into picture. So Lord is saying, you cut your relationship, you develop your relationship with me. He's saying, Man mana bhavo mad bhakto madhyajimam namashkuru. And this shloka he's saying 2 times in Bhagavad Gita. So what does Lord mean? Lord is trying to say that you cut these attachments and you develop your attachment towards me. So there was a time, this is a small analogy about a person who was so much attached with his family. So attached with his family and his property and things like that. So he is on his deathbed. The person is about to die. So when a person is dying, he is very disturbed because he's going to leave. He is going to quit all his relationships. So that position is very difficult position, not because the person is going through the physical pain that is there, but apart from that, there is a there's a mental pain which is there, because just imagine if we lose 10 rupees, 100 rupees, 50 rupees, we feel a pinch. But that point of time, people have to leave everything, and that person is aware that I'm going to quit this. So he was, normally people are in a very difficult situation. So this person was also on his deathbed. So he will ask, where is my eldest son? So the eldest son will raise his hand. My dear father, I'm here. Don't worry. Of course, the son can do nothing but just stand there and make some prayer or something. The pain which is being felt by the father, the son may not be able to understand that. But yes, he's saying, Father, I'm here, don't worry. Then the father will say, where is my second son? So the second son will be there. He'll say, oh father, I'm here, do not worry, I'm here. And then the third person, he will ask, where is my youngest son? So this person is calling, and the youngest son appears. He says, my dear father, don't worry, we are all here. We are with you. So the person says, if you are all here, then who is taking care of my shop? My shop is like this only. So you see, his consciousness is so much stuck with his shop that nobody is at the shop. He is not thinking that I'm quitting this body and what is going to happen to me. So there is a similar example of another person who was a little more intelligent than this person. So this person, when he is going to die on his deathbed, when he is there, so he will call two persons. One, he called his astrologer, who was his family priest or somebody who can give him guidance, who can tell the future. So that kind of person he will call. And the second person he'll call was his chartered accountant or his accountant or whatever you call. So, or a lawyer. So these people are there, and then this person will ask the astrologer, you plan and tell me where I'm going to take my next birth. So this person will say, oh, you're from North India, you're going to take your birth somewhere in maybe somewhere in some area in Bangalore in South India. So this person will say, okay, he will give instructions to his accountant, to his lawyer, and then of course they will get the details of the family. Then he'll say, okay, you're going to take birth in this family in Bangalore, in this area, and this is the address and so and so. So the lawyer is instructed by this person who is dying. The person says, you transfer all my property, everything which is there, to that family, because I'm going to take birth in that family. So this person is little more intelligent, but see, again, his consciousness is dwelling on the same point, that my family, my relationship, my property, and things like that. From the childhood, we have been doing so many things, to develop the relationships. There are so many courses on relationship, how to develop, great relationships and things like that. So I was scrolling through Google to get some interesting facts about the relationships. So these are the things I got, this morning when I was just, checking, let me see what does Google talk about the relationships. So as per the Google, it is mentioned 1 in 3 teenagers have experienced violence in dating relationships. So 1 in 3, which is like, quite a good percentage, big percentage. And it says that, around 48% of the women and 55% of the men cheat on their spouse. So that is something about the so-called relationship we are talking about. And then it talks about, the relationship which people get into, that relationship lasts hardly 90% of the relationships are broken in the first year, and the remaining 10% are broken in the next 2 years and 5 years respectively. That is how the relationship ends. And we talk about people, nowadays, you would have heard this thing, people say, it was my love at first sight. So that love at first sight, if somebody is into that love at first sight, that is not a very comfortable position to be. Because, for example, if you think you see a girl who is very, very beautiful, and you say, okay, she is going to be my wife, or a girl sees a boy and sees, oh, he's such a nice, handsome, charming person, and he is going to be my husband. So they get married, and after some time, the beauty is lost. The girl, she has put on a lot of weight, and she is not looking so much beautiful now. And same thing happened to the man also. He's got a tummy. From 6 packs, he has got single pack now. So that love at first sight was there for the body. Now the body is changed. Now when the body is changed, that love is also gone. So that is the relationship we are talking about. We are trying to deepen our relationship more and more. I'm sure you would have heard this concept of spiritual death when you're writing your Siksha papers. Most of you have written this. What is spiritual death? So spiritual death is that, not, forgetting our relationship with God and doing nothing to reestablish our lost connection with God. That is what is the spiritual death. So we are trying to develop so many relationships. And while we do this, we are forgetting that our real relationship is with Krishna, because we are not reading Bhagavad Gita, we are not reading Srimad Bhagavatam. So we hardly know that there is a relationship. The Lord is there in our heart, seated in our heart. He is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, he's saying that Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sanivishto. I am seated in everyone's heart. So he's giving many references, and it is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita that Lord and Jeev, they are Paramatma and Atma, they are seated on one tree, two birds on a tree. But we have almost forgotten the other bird, because we have covered our consciousness so much with so-called, relationships, that we have almost forgotten our relationship with God. And that is why it is said, we hear from the examples of Prahlad Maharaj, that he says, at the younger age, we should do the bhakti. Even Dhruv is a great example. Dhruv Maharaj, he did bhakti, Krishna consciousness in a very younger age. And they have showed from their examples that even when you are in difficulty, you can still do bhakti. It is not going to, you cannot say that I'm in difficult situation, so I will postpone my bhakti. Even Guru Maharaj says that, when you are practicing Krishna consciousness, sometimes you are deliberately put into trouble. And even Prabhupada is mentioning in this purport the last couple of lines, where he says that, yes, you are even you are tested by Lord and you are put into trouble. I'll just read those last two lines so that we are very perfect on this. So Prabhupada is saying, therefore, it is sometimes experienced that the Lord, out of his special affinity towards a weak devotee, breaks the family affection by force of circumstances arranged by his all-powerful energy. By doing so, he causes the devotee to become completely dependent on him, and thus clears the path for his going back to Godhead. See, many times we may not realize that, Krishna is with us all the time. We say that we are chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we are doing deity worship, Tulsi Puja, and attending Sunday feast, and talking to devotees, preaching, things like that. But sometimes we forget that, Krishna is always with us. He is very, very personal about our relationship with Krishna, and that is how Krishna nicely aligns our path, so that we are more and more turning towards Krishna. The moment he sees that, okay, this person, he was coming towards me, now he's got some different attractions, immediately Krishna acts. He tries to connect that person with a devotee, or somehow pulls away in a relationship, or somehow puts that person in trouble so that the person comes back. There is so much Krishna is doing for us, but we forget that, that Lord is, we think that, okay, we are trying so much, but Lord is not there. Lord is there with us every second, and he is watching us, and he's helping and protecting us also. I'm sure most of you have, realized this. So we are doing so much, to maintain the relationship in the material world, but we are not doing much to maintain our relationship with Krishna. When we talk about our sadhana, there are many few people who are reading scriptures on a daily basis. If they are reading scriptures on a daily basis, then they are very happy in Krishna consciousness. But if they are not reading scriptures, then they are forced. they cannot do their chanting properly because they have not read about Lord from ages. They have not met a devotee who is strong devotee and who is practicing Krishna consciousness very nicely. So there are so many problems in congregation and other devotee relationship also. I will come to that a little later. But yes, we are trying to do so many things to develop our relationship with our spouse, with our children, with our parents, with so many people. And nowadays, you see, not nowadays, it is there from time, so much of time that, singing for somebody, you want to develop a relationship, you tend to sing. People write poem for, somebody who is very beautiful, and they write the love letters. They do so many things to develop a relationship. Somehow I want that boy in my life, or somehow I want that girl in my life. Somehow they try to impress the person, the men. They go to the gym and they try to build their muscles so that they look very attractive, and it becomes very easy for them to find a girlfriend. Like Gaur Gopal Das Prabhu says that it is not very difficult to make a relationship outside world, in the outside world. All you have to do is you have to go to the gym. For men, I'm saying you need to build some body, and then you need to start wearing some branded stuff, and your Reebok shoes, or I don't know much of brands, maybe a Rolex watch and things like that. So when you are doing all this, then normally people get attracted with you. You carry a very nice, something which is very expensive things with you, the branded stuff. So normally you are catching attention of people, and it's very easy. You can, you create so many relationships. But see, what are we doing for Krishna consciousness? Have you remembered singing something for the Lord, apart from the Aartis, Mangal Aarti, which we attend, singing for the Lord from your heart, have you remembered any time you sang for the Lord, you saw the Lord and you felt very happy? You thought, okay, my dear Lord, let me sing for you. You're so beautiful. You're so merciful. So that is why we are trying so many things to develop our relationship. And it is important that we start early in Krishna consciousness, because it helps us to make the right decisions. So that is why students who are in Krishna consciousness now, they shouldn't think that, okay, I have a lot of time, because all my people with whom I see, they are very old. Somebody is 50 years old, they are in Krishna consciousness. Somebody is 40, somebody is 60. I'm still young. I'm 20s, I'm 20, 30s. I'm very young. So I still have a lot of time. They should never be thinking like that, because if you think like that, then you are going to miss on miss making the right choices. So if somebody is in Krishna consciousness before marriage, so they can make a right decision to choose their spouse, which is a very, very big decision in our Krishna consciousness. We should never get carried away by the so-called attraction or affection with the body, because it is going to change. It is temporary. It is we have to remember that the bhokta is only the Lord. Bhagavad Gita 5.29. So we have to remember that. So if we start early in Krishna consciousness, then we can make right decisions in our life. Choose the right spouse who is Krishna conscious, so that your activities are not affected. Then have proper samskaras when you welcome the kids in your family. And then when the kids are there, guide them and educate them properly, both materially and spiritually, so that they can contribute towards Krishna consciousness society. And that is the real help, as a father, you're doing for your children. Many times we see that parents are very proud of sending their children to a very expensive schools. We have very expensive schools in Bangalore also, who charges like 2 lakhs rupees in a year, or maybe 2.5 lakhs in a year. We have CMR, Delhi Public School. We have, so many schools which are there, very, very expensive. So parents who send their children to these schools, they're very proud, thinking that, okay, I have done my part. My child is going to the best of the best school. But they forget that this school is Jada Vidya. It is required. But more than that, what is required is the Krishna consciousness. If your child is learning all materialistic activities in these high-profile schools, then you are actually wasting his life if you're not guiding your children, to be in Krishna consciousness properly. If your child is not growing up in Krishna consciousness, not taking up Siksha, Diksha, not progressing, then it is a very, very difficult situation. So I'm sorry to say that, but we cannot be very good parents when we say that, my child is not in Krishna consciousness, but he's going in the best of the best school. That is not the real help for a child. The real help is that you set a right foundation for your children, that they understand that, okay, this is my life. Okay, this life is given to me so that I develop my connection with Krishna, my relationship with Krishna. And when I develop my relationship with Krishna, when I chant the holy name of the Lord, then I do not get this so-called sorrow. I understand the real purpose of life. I understand that this happiness and sorrow, it is momentarily. So see, such powerful things, if you teach your children, they are going to be happy in their life, even when you are not there. So other things will not work or will not help your children. So it is important that we start early in Krishna consciousness, and that will help us to make the right choices when we talk about marriage, when we talk about choosing the right job. So I want to also stress on this point, job. Many times people are taking a job which is giving them a very high income. They compromise everything and anything for the job. They say, I have got so much job, I don't have leaves, I have this, I have that. They want to become a donkey, and they feel proud that I'm a very good donkey. In my office, I'm the best donkey because all other people are not doing so much of hard work, but I am doing my hard work 24/7. So you can award me the best donkey of the year or some things like that. But see, that is how what I'm trying to say, that if you start practicing Krishna consciousness early in your life, then you can choose the right job, which is not making you a donkey and which is allowing you to maintain a proper balance between your material and spiritual life. At least you are getting some time for your chanting. If you do not get time for your chanting also, then what kind of job you are doing? You are actually cheating yourself. You are missing a very good chance. So suppose somebody gives you sandalwood. Sandalwood is very expensive, and the person goes away, and when the person comes back in the evening, he sees that we are cooking some khichdi or something on the chulha, burning some wood. So he will say, Are, how come you got the wood to prepare this traditional way? It is very nice. So this person will say, Are, you gave me in the morning, no, that sandalwood. It's the same sandalwood I'm burning here to prepare this khichdi or things like that. So see, the sandalwood was so expensive, but this person has used that sandalwood just for cooking the meal, which can be done by any other wood. In the same manner, we have got this human body. The main purpose of human body is to understand God, to realize God. We cannot give pravachans to dogs. They will not understand. If I make 10 donkeys sit next to me and I will teach Bhagavad Gita to them, they will not give any reciprocation. Maybe they can benefit by hearing the holy name of the Lord, but they cannot give me a reciprocation that, okay, I will try to attend your class every Saturday. I will not miss your class, or I will come to the temple for service regularly. See, those donkeys are doing a lot of service. They're doing a lot of service, but the service is not directed properly. So their life is wasted. So these are the things which we can, very, very clearly understand when we start Krishna consciousness early in the life. That's about the job, about the marriage I spoke, about the children I spoke. And then Prabhupada says simple living and high thinking. This is very important. There are two differences between, there is a difference between the needs and the wants. So in Krishna consciousness, we need to focus on what is my need, what is my requirement. Based on the requirement, we need to align our activities. And when we talk about the wants, we know that wants are unlimited. They will go on, they will ask us, allow us to spend a lot of money, take heavy EMIs, and waste our human form of life. So we need to very clearly plan and decide, okay, this is the instruction from the senior Vaishnavas, these are the instruction from the senior our acharyas, guru parampara, that you keep your life simple and make your consciousness very strong, simple living and high thinking. I was listening to the lecture of Srila Prabhupada. He was focusing on this varnashram dharma. It is designed in such a nice manner that you have a brahmachari ashram where your focus is just to focus on, just to study. For the students, we can say they can study their module, they can study Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. That's it. They don't have any other task. They don't have to go to a job and spend time hours together. They have the task to study because this is a preparation for them in the life which is going to come in front of them. And when they prepare well here, they are going to do really good in their future life, in the life which is going to come for them. They are going to manage well their relationship. They're going to manage the difficulties and failure properly if they are very well trained in the brahmachari ashram. And that is what this Sanatan system is there, varnashrama, very, very clearly, properly designed. You become a brahmachari, you focus on your studies, you focus on your shastras, you learn how you're going to lead your life, learn how to manage relationships, things like that. And then when you grow, get up, take the grahastha ashram. Now you have a very proper choice you have made. You would have chosen a nice Krishna conscious devotee as your spouse. Now both of you sit together, plan that, in our life, what is our need and what is our requirement and what are our wants. So keep very limited things for your wants, but most of the things for your requirement, and then focus, okay, how we can nicely grow in Krishna consciousness. Husband and wife can help each other to grow in Krishna consciousness. And then when you welcome the children, then of course, when mother and father are very nice devotees, then the children will have no other choice. They just follow what the parents do. They say, my mother is chanting, they start chanting. They say, my father is, taking the classes, so they will start learning. Okay, this is the concept my father was talking about. Okay, so this is what is taking classes. Okay, I understood. So that's very, very easily getting molded in their brains. It is not a very difficult task. Then after Grahastha ashram, we come into Vanaprastha ashram, where once we reach 50, we need to focus our time completely on Krishna conscious activities. Nowadays, 50 is, 50, reaching 50 is difficult. People are dying at a very younger age, and there should be some amendment wherein they can do some, some vanaprastha can be preponed to by some 10 years, say 40 years. I think that should be the right way, because by the time we reach 50, it's already done. We don't have much left as we are progressing in the age of Kali. And then we get into the sannyas ashram. So this is how it is so nicely designed and, nicely planned and structured in this manner. A husband should be a devotee of the Lord, and wife should always follow the husband. Many times we see that the wives try to, if a husband is a devotee, then wife can just follow what husband is doing. It is not required for a wife to challenge the husband and, try to create his or her own way of leading the life and things like that. It is going to create difficulties in the family life. So very small, some analogies are there which will help us to understand that, even when we are in the relationships with our, when we are in affection, attraction with our family members, we can still go back to Godhead, provided our family is a Krishna conscious family. So they are all the devotees of the Lord. So when you are remembering the devotees of the Lord, you are obviously remembering the Lord. So that way, even though you are in the, family life, you can still be a very good Krishna conscious devotee. That is why it is important for us to turn our family into Krishna consciousness, because that is what is the real care for a family, correct? If you're really caring for your father, you're really caring for your mother, really caring for your children, really caring for your spouse, then you are giving them Krishna consciousness. If you're not giving them Krishna consciousness, or you're giving up thinking that, okay, this person will never take Krishna consciousness, then you are actually not a well-wisher of your family member. You are just pretending to be a well-wisher. You're not a well-wisher. When you know that your spouse is going to be in trouble, your children are going to be in trouble if they're not taking up Krishna consciousness, then so to do that, the devotee really works hard. They set up a right example so that they become attracted. Okay, this person is doing this. Let me take up Krishna consciousness. They always set up a right example. Okay, like we have the example of, Jayadeva, yes, Jayadeva, who wrote Geet Govinda. So his wife's name was Padmavati. So we see that, such an ideal wife she was, that, Lord gave his darshan to Padmavati, but not to Jayadev. He came and wrote I think the Geet Govinda last paragraph was left out. So Lord comes and he writes, finishes that, and he goes away. He comes in the form of Jayadeva. And Padmavati thinks that it is Jayadeva, and then, she will serve food and everything. And then later on, Jayadeva comes. Then they realize, okay, Lord himself had come to complete that, the last paragraph. So such a nice devotee, see Jayadeva's wife. So just by nicely following a devotee who is the husband, we can easily, please the Lord. The wives can easily please the Lord. It is very easy for them, because if the husband is doing 100% activities, 50% of that is automatically going to the wives, without any much effort. But provided they are obeying their husband, if they don't obey their husband, then they can never expect 50%. It is not going to come to them. So see, it is so easy, right? um, so this is the point I was trying to make, that, we can have affection with the family, but if you have molded your family in a Krishna conscious way, then it is very nice. If not, then we have to try to, develop our relationship with the Lord if you don't develop with the relationship with the Lord, because see, wife is not going to come with you, husband is not going to come with you, children are not going to come with you. When we feel pain, then that pain only we can understand. They can say, okay, I understand your problem, but they can never experience that pain which we are going through, right? So it is our real connection is with Lord. He is always there with us all the time. Even when we take a body of a hog, even then Krishna is there with us. So at last, I will mention this example of Mragari. Mragari was doing everything for his family. He had taken a very, very interesting kind of job wherein he was killing the animal, and he used to kill them half and then leave them for, they used to be in trouble till they die. So once Narad Maharishi sees Mragari, and he will say, why are you doing such, such ghastly things? These are these are going to put you in a lot of trouble. Then Mragari will say, I'm doing this for my family. So Narad Maharishi, at that point of time, he says, you do one thing, go to your family members and ask that whatever pain, trouble which you're going to get in the hell, you are going to share with me or not. So Narad Maharishi will instruct this to Mragari, and Mragari will go and ask his wife, my dear wife, I'm doing so many things. Narad Maharishi says that I'm going to be in hell for so many years. Are you going to be shared with me that bowl of, that frying oil where we are going to be fried? So I am also going to be there. Are you going to be there with me? The wife will say, no, 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 I cannot be with you. No, no, it is not possible. Why should I get fried with you? It is you who are doing all these things. Then he will go to his children, my dear beautiful children, I'm going to be fried in that bowl of Yamraj where, because I'm killing so many animals. So are you going to share that with me? The children will say, no, 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 we cannot share that with you. Mragari immediately comes back to Narad Maharishi. He says, no, they are not ready to share. And then he realizes, okay, I'm doing all this for me. I mean, for my family. But see, my family is not ready to share anything, punishments with me. Your person is, people are stealing. Why they're stealing? Because they want money for their family. But when they're caught, who is sent to the jail? The person is sent to the jail. Who is beaten up? The person is beaten up. So we need to be intelligent. These examples are there in the scriptures, which helps us to understand that we need to pray for our family. We need to help our family. And somehow we need to get our family in a Krishna conscious life. And that is possible when we are Krishna conscious. Janma sarthak kari kar paropakara. If we are only not Krishna conscious, if we are not only doing our chanting properly, if we are only acting like a donkey in our office, then how can you motivate your family members to become Krishna conscious? How can you motivate your members, Bhakti Vriksha members and things like that? And one more point I'll touch upon because it is 6:50, just like 2 more minutes. We see that many times when we take a lot of time in Krishna consciousness to grow, like we have example of Matrapati Prabhuji and Parvakti Mataji who got initiation in just 2 years of time. Okay. But we see that, there are devotees who have taken 10 years of time. So sometimes I hear devotees saying, the new people, no, no, it is not very urgent, you can take your time, because I myself have taken 10 years. So how can I expect you to take, Krishna consciousness early? That is not preaching. Actually, that is cheating. You are so slow and so dull. So you're also thinking others can also be dull like this. You should always encourage somebody who is progressing, and within 2 years of time, they are ready to, take up Diksha and progress in Krishna consciousness. That is a real help. So I will stop with this. My sincere apologies for extending. And if I have committed any mistakes, please do forgive me. If you have any questions, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Patita Pavan Guru Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna.